What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Behind the Mindset podcast. I'm here with my good friends at NAVAC, Mr. Brad. Mr. Brad, everybody knows him as Cowboy Brad, and Keith. So what's new at NAVAC? What's going on?
New stuff going on with the NAVAC. Giving away a Harley.
Giving away a Harley. That's exciting stuff.
Yeah.
How does one go about getting a Harley?
It's super simple. You buy NAVAC tools. So we made it even simpler. Every dollar you spend with NAVAC is one entry. So right now, guess what? You got to switch out to A2L. You're buying some new tools. Look around. Guess what? If you go with the NAVAC tool, you get one more perk. One, you get a badass tool. Two, you get a chance to win a Harley in March.
So vacuum pump is $200-300. That's 200-300 entries, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how many entries do you anticipate having by the time this thing's ready to roll?
We already have thousands, but it's still very low amount. So chances are really great. There are some rules and regulations, and the way that you manage these type of raffles is you hire a third-party company so that you're eligible in all 50 states. There's a lot of laws, there's a lot of regulations. We're not the expert at this. So there's a third-party company that gets the data, the information, and then they do the picking. And, even someone in a territory like Puerto Rico has a chance to win.
Interesting. So U.S. and domestic territories, if you will. Okay, that's cool.
Everything U.S. is covered. So now, yeah, there are rules, like you have to be 18 or over, you have you have to pay the taxes on it once you receive it.
Oh, God.
Yeah. That's on you.
It's like even when you win the lottery, the only people that win is the IRS. Every time, without fail, the IRS wins every time.
The government always wins.
Yeah.
I don't care what party you are. The government always wins first, so.
Oh, that's it. We're done with this
We're done with this podcast. It went political.
We're out of here.
That was simple enough.
You probably hear a bunch of noise in the background, and where we're at right now, we're at the HVAC Nationals, which actually already finished. They're finishing up right now the plumbing nationals, the national championship for the plumbing, and they're getting ready to announce the winners for the national plumbing championship. So, pardon.
You can't say who the winner is.
Pardon the noise in the background. Actually, I don't even know who won.
Okay, all right.
So,
yeah, good idea.
Do not shush me.
I wasn't going to say anything.
No, he was recording. It was funny because, Ben was recording yesterday. He was like, I was going to post this. And it's like the HVAC guy, on stage about to win. I'm like, you can't post this until they
nobody
release
said
it.
anything. I don't
Nah.
Whatever.
Whatever.
All right. So other than the Harley, which is pretty awesome, by the way, 2024, brand new Harley, right? What else is new?
So we are on the cusp of starting to release our new products for 2025. Start announcing the new lineup. NAVAC every year we come out with at least 20 new SKUs. So we're constantly innovating and adding to our catalog, thinking of ways to improve the industry, make it a little bit more efficient. We have our big sales meeting. We call it the NAVAC Experience, where we invite some of our customers, some influencers, some of our reps, and of course the whole NAVAC team. We get together and put on a show to showcase what do we have coming down the road, or what can we improve on education. So you'll have someone like Andrew Greaves doing demonstrations and letting the guys put their hands on tools, showing them best practices. So this year, one of our big launches was not only the NR7 recovery unit that pushed recovery a little bit forward, right? With efficiency and recovery time, but we also had the NX1, which is our first dip into the smart tools, app base, right? So
that's right. So NAVAC has an app now.
We have an app now. Now, these things are not developed overnight, and they're not well polished overnight. We know that. But it's our first step in, right, to develop and build from there. And with the team we got, like Brad, Andrew, myself, and the rest of the team that we have a lot of ideas to develop for the future and to make a technician's job just a little bit more easier, a little bit less painful, And we're trying to listen to what they're saying so that we know how to make the tools for them, not just make tools for us and push them out to the market, but to listen to what, our consumers and our customers are using the tools for and see how we can improve their day.
Well, that's a great segue. Like, how long does it take to get from idea to finished product?
So that depends. There's a lot of variables in that. But we're probably the most nimble and quickest because, at NAVAC, we're like a fast, energetic team, and we
We
all
move
breathe
fast.
it. We move quick.
We're loud.
We have over like 300 engineers on staff in different departments, so we can move pretty quick. But depends on the we want to do our due diligence. We don't want to rush a product to market. Some products require more testing. A lot of holdups is actually with government agencies as well. So whether that's UL or like CSA, there is backlogs to this type of stuff. So for example, the NR7, I think that took about like 1.5 to 2 years. The concept was there. The technology was there. We borrowed some pieces from our other recovery unit. But the testing actually took 10 months because of the UL backlog.
And you can't move past that. Like, they're kind of the roadblock.
Yeah, they're a roadblock. To be true, A2L compatible, we wanted to take the extra steps to make sure that we have, consumer safety in mind. And some of that too, Canada and other countries, because we're not just in the US, we're global. Other countries are strict when it comes to some restrictions. So you do have to have like a CSA certificate, or you do have to have certain testing done.
Interesting.
Now, me personally, I got to do the sound decibel testing when we were developing that product. So I just so happened to be with the engineers, and they let me do the sound decibel testing. So I got to learn how to do that, and it was a lot of fun.
Is that important to figure out like how to decrease decibels on a recovery machine or a vacuum pump? I mean, I feel like,
Well, technicians are around and installers are around a lot of noise nonstop, right? We don't want to add to that noise.
it's fair.
Right? So like if we could do something small, such as like just change a bending in a tube, which what we did to drop a couple of decibels, we'll take that extra step and do that to see how the harmonics happen.
Oh.
It's nuances of this,
Sure.
but I don't want to be louder than something I already have, right? And I don't want to be the loudest in the market.
And you don't want to be
remember
louder than it needs to be either.
Yeah. When I want to be loud, I'll turn on the Harley,
Good point.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, you guys are always innovating. You're always bringing out new products and stuff, which is cool. And I dig that. And it seems like there's a lot of companies out there that take a long time to come to market with stuff. Like they'll have something in the queue for 4 or 5 years before it actually gets released.
I mean, we have a queue up for at least, 5 years. I mean, we have ideas, but we run on a 3-3 schedule where we're looking at 3 years down the road, like what we can do and be effective in 3 years, and then the wish list for the next 3 years, right?
Got it.
So we're constantly running this type of schedule. The difference is that, we manufacture 98% of our own products. That's the difference. Our engineering team is our engineering team. We're not having to talk to, these different companies to get this piece here, and then assemble it together. No, it's our team, our manufacturing, our quality control, our testing. So that's why we're able to move pretty quick and be very effective. And it's our decisions. So, you're not talking about the president of the company kind of driving like, you need to bring this to the market and get this. That's not how that works. You have to let the market speak for the product.
Well, again, brings it down to the title of the podcast, right? Like it's a mindset. Like the way you guys are doing this is very strategic and it's very well thought out.
Yeah.
And, very different from how everybody else is doing it.
Well, we have a different team. So our president is an engineer that, in the 90s used to work for Rheem, and he invented the Rheem shorty furnace. So he understands all the way from product side, how this operates, how
Got
this
it.
works. He was part of GE Hire when they had their big merger. So he understands the business behind it.
Oh,
So, I come from distribution, one of the largest distributors, in the nation. And, Brad comes from the manufacturing side. We got other people on the team that, they were maybe reps before, or they worked on a distributor, they worked for other manufacturers. So we have a unique team that we pulled together and it worked perfect. I mean, Andrew came from the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we got a guy with a mindset of like, this is how a technician thinks. I come with the mindset, this is how a distributor thinks. He comes from the mindset, this is how a manufacturer thinks. So you put that together with some people that want to make a huge impact, and you're very, very impactful.
yeah. I just tend not to think. It's already the thinking's already been done.
The thinking is too much. Yeah.
We're out.
No, but I mean, I'm excited to see what you guys have coming out. I'm excited to get to go to the event in Dallas with you guys, and
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
yeah, I mean, I'm not an influencer or anything. I'm just a regular guy. So they do allow regular guys to come into this event too. But
that's what every
invitational.
influencer says. They don't like to be called an influencer, but people listen. People, whether they listen and react well or listen and react poorly and leave comments.
There's no shortage of that.
There's no shortage of opinions on the internet.
We're talking to you, Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook. We read you.
Yeah,
We're part of every group.
we're coming for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, opinions are kind of like buttholes. Everybody's got one,
Exactly.
Yeah, but there is little golden nuggets in those turds too. So sometimes we peel that back.
I don't think I'm gonna sift through the turds
Dude,
for the golden nuggets.
Sometimes you have to, and our mindset is we never stop improving. So like even a product that we had for like 6 or 7 years, we may go back and reevaluate and say, okay, this is how we can improve this now, right? 5 years, a lot has changed.
Right.
We may have gotten better tooling at our factory. We may have got, new team members on the engineering staff that it's time to review. So it's not just coming out with 20 new products, every year or more. It's also going back to see like, what can we do to improve? What can we do to eliminate warranties, failures, anything like that, to do a little bit better? Because we hear you. I mean, the people that leave the comments on Facebook, or on our Instagram, you name it, we hear you. We see you. We see those messages, and we take it back to the team. So some of that also helps. A little bit more education, Well,
I feel like a lot of companies don't listen, right?
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, dude, we're doing what we're doing. You just keep buying our stuff.
Yeah. No, my failure rate is like, this much, so it must be you. No, but if you could do a little bit better by changing a small thing or a widget, or maybe just doing a little bit of education and best practices, all the people that post their recovery on Facebook and Instagram, like, thank you. I love seeing that. But you know what I'm looking for? Looking to see if you're running that dryer on the inlet. That's what I'm looking for, to see if like, okay, is this person...
what's a dryer?
What's a dryer? Yeah. Yeah. So, because we have a pretty easy warranty process. It's over-the-counter swap. And we want to keep it that way, So we want to keep all the failures to bare minimum, and just keep the technician working with their tools. There can't be downtime. My first job in distribution was at the warranty counter. So I know every warranty that's out there, between equipment all the way to tools, and I understand, what that downtime means. You got a vacuum pump, or let's say like a manifold gauge, and technician doesn't have it and they're used to doing this. What are they going to do? How are they going to make their livelihood? How are they going to make their income? So.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, man.
But take care of your tools.
Dude, you take
Because a lot of times we see them,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, that fell off a roof,
If you take care of your tools will take care of you.
Oh, exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah, especially like vacuum pumps, dude, like change the oil. Like, how hard is that?
You're supposed to do that?
Hoses change.
What's oil? Those things take oil?
Hoses change the gaskets.
Yeah.
Yeah, your gaskets and your valve removal tools are not lifelong things. And you could put your pliers on them all you want. You're just crushing that gasket more.
Yeah.
Use a little bit of oil. Use a little bit of Nylog. Send that to the refrigeration technologies.
This is where it comes across the screen.
Yeah.
Nylog.
Nylog.
We put that on everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good point because you always have to remember that's going to give it a better seal. And you're
Yeah.
not supposed to crimp it all down. You're compressing that O-ring every time you do it. You're just damaging it. You're just supposed to snug it up. That's all you're doing. That's why you use the nylon and things like that. So you
Yeah,
don't.
if you're using a pair of channel locks to tighten your hoses, we got problems.
Yeah, it takes 2 seconds. Just get a little pick and change that gasket. With most of our hoses and most of our products, you know, if there's a gasket in there, then you're usually getting an extra one. Even in a cover unit, you get extra screens and stuff like that.
Yeah, I always keep a little plastic container with different O-rings, different sizes and stuff like that.
Yeah, and if
So-
you're out there, out and about in your supply house and you see someone representing NAVAC, most likely they have a change of gaskets on them. So like each rep and each like regional manager, they have the most commonly failed parts on them. So just ask them.
So
If not, they'll take it off of their tool and give it to you. That's our team. That's what we got. I showed up here today with a recovery unit with no knobs, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, what is this about? And I go, well, we're at a show. Tom Leach had a problem with his recovery unit. You know, he has a YouTube channel, and he took my knobs. You know, I gave him my knobs, so I didn't get a chance to put the new ones on. We did it here on site.
Yeah, so when I was in New Jersey, we went to NAVAC's corporate office, and they took me back in this little R&D room, and they opened up these, big cabinets, and there was just parts, right? Like all these little parts. And for me, that was super impressive because as a guy who's out in the field doing stuff, right, and something goes wrong, a lot of times it's like, hey, I need this part. Well, then it's like this, all of those parts are on back order, or, oh yeah, we'll get it to you, and then it never shows up, or it takes months to get, right? And now your machine is down. You can't
Yeah.
use it, right? Now you got to go either use an older one or borrow one or go buy a new one, right?
Mhm.
And so that's super irritating. But I was really blown away at like how many parts that they actually had, how many parts they actually had in this cabinet, and it was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 cabinets just full.
Yeah.
So
So remember, the president comes from the equipment mindset, and he knows the equipment is only as good as the supporting parts.
sure.
So when you look at our parts list, like on our website, if something breaks, just go to our website. We have exploded views. Like looks like an AC unit, exploded views of all like the pumps and the manifolds, you name it, right? And the list of parts. I guarantee you the most commonly failed parts, we got it. Even the hard ones that like maybe like it's a case or something like that, probably have it. If not, you also saw what we have is like the spare units of like things that came back and we're robbing pieces off of. So like when we do want something back, we will recall it. We'll send the UPS label, get it sent back to us for testing, take a look at it. And then if it's deemed no good in anything, then it goes in the spare, like kind of like some supply houses will borrow parts out of a unit.
Sure.
We're borrowing parts off of like maybe like a used model that we verify is good to just get someone up and running again. If I can't do that, there's another company called Ice Cold that you send your product to, and they do full repairs. So Ice Cold, if you never dealt with
I
them,
never heard of that.
they're out of Minnesota. They all they do is repair tools for everyone. So they could repair anyone's vacuum pump, recovery unit.
What about
And
like regular tools too, like drills and stuff like that?
not so much like common like DeWalt or Milwaukee like drills. I don't believe they do that, but they'll do like our flaring tool. They're probably one of the best sources for out of warranty like repair
Interesting.
in the industry. They've been around for like 30 years.
At least 30.
Yeah, they've been around forever. So Ice Cold with a K, KOLD. So if you have any products, you bring it to them, and then they love working with us because we make it easy for them. We just tell them the parts, send them the parts. We got the exploded view. When we're developing products, it's part of our process to have a parts list before launch, right? So we have the parts list because a lot of times you'll have a product or even units. Like I don't know if you dealt with that, on the distributor side, but sometimes like, hey, the parts list isn't loaded. I don't know if you'd ever dealt with that. No,
No, not really.
no. So sometimes they don't have it before the launch of the equipment. No, we do it before.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely something to like doing things in order, right?
Yeah.
And having things prepared. It's a mindset.
Yeah, even though we're a newer company, we operate as this very well-oiled company because we have the experience behind it. He grew up in the industry. I grew up in the industry in multiple ways. And our whole team is that way. So
Hmm.
you have people that like understand, like, oh, like I dealt with this issue. We don't want to do that. Oh, we don't want to like rush a product out and then maybe have like a massive failure. We take the steps, we do the testing, we double check, dot every I, cross every T. Things happen. Yeah. There's some things that we can't foresee, but, we try to eliminate as much as we can.
What does the future hold for the brand?
Future's exciting.
Can you expand on that?
Yeah, I can.
Sliding out of the
But I'll let him answer because he makes it more exciting.
the future without getting in trouble, because I can feel that our marketing director is kind of looking at me behind your camera,
She's
so I'm
staring at
not
you right
going to
now.
look at this way. There's always new things we're going to be doing. We have new tools and parts coming out this year at ASHRAE that I think people are going to look at us and go, "You did what?"
Yeah, ASHRAE is AHR Expo for anybody who doesn't know what ASHRAE is
Sorry.
yet.
So we have some tools coming out into 25 that I don't think people even understood NAVAC could do. We're going to turn some tables this year that I don't think.
And this is stuff we're seeing at the thing in Dallas?
You're gonna get a sneak
You're
peek
gonna
in
get a
just a
sneak
couple
peek.
weeks.
Okay.
And I think I will look at you in the crowd when we announce it just for the smile, because I'm starting to get shaky just thinking about the stuff that's happening, because we are going to change the way you guys look at this entire industry.
Yeah. Before us, there wasn't a lot of, I was a product manager for one of the largest distributors in the U.S., right? There wasn't a lot of new tools coming out, right? So why would I leave this national distributor, right, and join a team like NAVAC 5 years ago? Well, because I saw what they're doing. They're being innovative in the market, right? Battery powered pump. Yeah, we're first. Battery powered flaring tool, tubing expander, bender, we're first. These were all the different ideas that like everyone else passed up on. So while it is like a newer brand, we operate and we have the backing, of this huge monster that like we're going to push the industry forward. We're going to make it, technicians a little bit more, efficient and less worn down at the end of the day. We're trying to, and it's in our slogan, empowering you to work smarter. We're trying to get you to, pull proper vacuums, use your core tools, use the right hoses, cut the manifold out, because that's how we intend the product to use. You want to get the most out of the battery, you have to do that. You don't have a choice. Andrew Greaves did a great job kind of paving the way, showing everyone kind of how that's done on his YouTube channel, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. The new stuff that we have coming is just to add to that, to push forward, to be innovative, and it's a lot. Now, not only do we have new tools and new things happening with NAVAC, but we also have new partners on board. We're getting stronger with our distribution. We're getting a little bit easier access to where you buy NAVAC, right? You could go into most supply houses across the U.S., brick and mortar, and say, hey, I want this from NAVAC, and they can get it for you. Majority of them. If not, ask them why they don't have it. I think Lance over at Solder World, did the same thing a couple of years ago where he had a campaign and say, hey, go in and ask for Solder World,
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, community definitely makes a difference, right? I mean, you get the community to ask for products because a lot of these suppliers aren't going to bring in a new product unless somebody asks for it.
Yeah.
So I think it just costs too much money for them. It's too much of a headache. It's too much of an inconvenience,
Well, coming from that side, I could tell you there's a lot of things at play, right? You're dealing with partners that you dealt with for years and you protect that. We get it. That's fine. Thing is with NAVAC, I get things that some of my competitors don't have, right? So, if you're going to compare NAVAC to one brand, you can't. Talk about recovery. I got multiple competitors in recovery, but I go all the way to commercial. You know, vacuum. No one could touch us. We got 2 CFM to 23 CFM industrial, and then we even go more past that on our industrial sector, which is totally different business, to 300 CFM.
Yeah, I saw some of those pumps when I was in
They're-
New Jersey. And
I saw the video.
Yeah,
and-
I'm like,
And those pumps are beautiful. They're like pieces of art, but that's for a different sector. That's for like, you know, pharmaceuticals. That's for Tyson chicken, food packaging and stuff like that. But a vacuum pump is a vacuum pump. Let's be honest, you know. But no one could touch us on that. Tubing tools. Nothing was done for years. So I don't have one competitor. I got many competitors when it comes to the tool side, right? And we enjoy it. You know, we love it. We play fair, we play nice. You know, we
do you though?
to
I'm just
some,
kidding.
to the ones that play nice.
We have our friends.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited to see what you guys have coming down the pipeline, and I've always just kind of been floored with, you know, you guys keep coming out with new things that are just kind of like, man, why didn't I think of that? Or, you know, why did it take this long for it to come out, right? So yeah, it's exciting, man, exciting. So if you could leave people listening or watching with anything new for NAVAC or words of advice or whatever it may be, what would you say?
Best words of advice I got is I went to school for computer networking. That's my degree.
How's that working out for you?
I was an IT guy for like a little bit for NAVAC in the early stages, but that was about it. No, you could do anything. If you are a technician today, that doesn't mean that you can't be like a factory FSR tomorrow. If you know, are in a supply house, that doesn't mean that like you can't, you know, go work with a manufacturer or independent rep agency, you know, tomorrow.
Right.
This industry is very tight knit. You know, A, don't burn any bridges. B, you learn every single day. There's something new to learn every single day. You go in with that mindset, and you could learn something every single day. So stay humble. You don't know everything. Listen to the people around you. You know, have conversation with people. Don't force your opinions on people. Listen to what they say and have a conversation about it. You know how many guys that told me, you know, in the past 5 years that, oh, you're going to tell me how to pull a vacuum? I've been doing this since, you know, you were in diapers. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. Like, that's fine. But that doesn't mean that there is not a better way, right? There's always a conversation to be had and to improve yourself in your craft.
Well, you have to be humble enough to be able to accept that correction,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to be able to top that. Jeez. Let me think real quick. Any advice? Remove your valve core while pulling a vacuum. That's the biggest one I got, because I'm going to tell you, watching some videos, I promise you some of you don't.
And don't pull vacuums through manifolds.
See, there's 2 great terms of advice just right there.
That'll change your day, that's for sure.
I got one for you that no one really thinks of. Don't charge through the back of a valve core tool. You're eliminating a safety feature by not putting the core back in. So when you pull a vacuum and you add a little bit of a charge to break that vacuum is what you want to do. Then you put your core in. Then you charge the system like normal. It's not safe to do that on the back of a core tool because that Schrader core is a safety device. Which you don't think of.
I didn't think of that.
Some tips, some education, boom, mindset.
And there you have it.
Look, I talked the whole time.
What more do you want? You're a talker.
You're the one in the middle.
Yeah. You shouldn't have sat in the middle if you didn't want to talk.
That's what happens when you have the
I was sitting
mustache.
back.